Welcome back to the R&D podcast. My name's Dalton.
RJ.
Today we got a interesting one for you. I just want to start off by saying roll Tide. Smoke them if you got them. Got the new outfit this weekend. Haven't taken this thing off since. But big game for Bama. We'll start off there. Alabama Crimson Tide bring on the Volunteers at home. And, a really interesting game. Could have gone, two ways. There for a little while, you thought it was going to be a shootout. Alabama ends up winning by 17, but it doesn't really feel like you won by 17. Felt like the game could have been close throughout the whole way. How do you assess this performance for this Alabama team as far as the offensive wise, with Ty Simpson having a pretty decent game?
Well, give it up for the old line for holding back Tennessee's defense line, because that's the best thing on Tennessee's defense. And also Ty Simpson evading the rush, getting out of the pocket, making plays, and just stuff like that. That Ty Simpson is looking amazing right now. He's definitely the number one candidate for my Heisman right now. And I'm an Auburn fan, so but after who was it? What's his name? The cornerback. What's the cornerback's name for Alabama that got pick six?
Oh, Xavier Brown. Halftime interception kind of throws the tie of the game.
Yeah, I feel like that was the ending for Tennessee right there. I think that what sold the game.
Yeah, so, if Tennessee scores there, which Alabama, people forget that Alabama had a safety earlier in that game too. And we'll talk about Yanze Pierre. He had a crazy game, right at 3 sacks, forced that safety with the intentional grounding. Kid played a heck of a first half. He was kind of, he wasn't really as dominant in the second half, but amazing first half, played a heck of a game, SEC Player of the Week, SEC Defensive Player of the Week, let me rephrase that. But Alabama's defense came up clutch, and this offense that the highest scoring, offense in the SEC, highest number of passing yards, highest number of rushing yards. Tennessee is not a bad team at all. Now, Xavier Brown makes that pick right before half on a questionable. A lot of people have asked Heupel kind of what that play call was, because you run play action for no reason right there with 9 seconds left to go and no timeouts. But nonetheless, great play by Xavier Brown. Can't take that away from him, and did a great job to get it all the way back to the end zone. How do you assess Tennessee's performance? Where do you think they missed out, and what do you think they could have done better to be able to beat Alabama in this game?
Oh, lower the mistakes and the penalties also. And stop. They got to Ty Simpson, but just couldn't get a hold of him. I mean, they let Ty Simpson scramble around that pocket and do his thing with their secondary. And you can't let Ty Simpson do that. You got to get to Ty Simpson. They did not do that. They didn't do a good job at that at all.
In this game, the two teams move. Alabama moves to number 4. Tennessee falls back 6 spots to 17. Tennessee looks forward to Kentucky this upcoming week. Kentucky had an impressive performance against Texas offense. Their defense is looking really good. This is at Kentucky too, so I wouldn't be surprised if Mark Stoops gets paid a ton of money to go 5-7, but it's a hellacious 5-7. You know what I'm saying? It is we're going to compete with some teams that we're not supposed to compete with. And one of these days, we're going to get the right person back here, and we're going to start winning football games. But as of right now, I think Tennessee may have a little trouble with Kentucky, but ultimately get past them, maybe in a good bounce-back win. Then you look forward to Oklahoma, New Mexico State, Florida, Vanderbilt. We'll talk about Florida and their coaching efforts here later in the video. But overall, man, the thing that impresses me about Alabama is I still don't think you've seen the best version of this team. I think they're going to continue to get better week by week. One thing that's alarming is your receiver, and Jeremy Bernard, who's an amazing talent, ends up with the most rushing yards on your team with 4 carries, 49 yards. So that one, that's not good. You got to establish the run a little bit better.
I was about to ask you that. Do you think y'all need to establish the run better to win out through the schedule?
I think right now, even with it's impressive that Alabama can still win without the rushing performance needed, right? You run 32 times for 120 yards. You average 3.8 yards per carry. This isn't awful, but it's definitely not great, right? It's definitely not where you want it to be. I think it can improve. I think you saw Daniel Hill kind of break out a little bit in this game. You could see he was the only back that was really getting anywhere. Jam Miller, he has 12 carries for 15 yards. Like, that's not going to work. Ryan Williams carried for 16 yards. But overall, I think Alabama's rushing attack will continue to evolve as teams are more worried about Ty Simpson. But as of right now, Alabama just has not been able to run the ball. You end the game with 32 carries for 120 yards, like I said. But if you don't have those couple little gash plays, really and truly, it was a really boring game on the Alabama rushing stance.
I know this game's I think about 3 weeks in the future, but I feel like you really need to execute that running game to beat Oklahoma's defense.
I agree. Oklahoma's defense is a really good unit. I think it's going to be. I mean, you still have LSU, Oklahoma, Auburn. So you have three really good because Auburn doesn't get enough credit for how good their defense is. If they had an offense, they'd be a really good team. South Carolina, South Carolina's probably the worst of the three on defense, but they're still not bad. Dylan Stewart, they're going to get after the quarterback. LSU is pretty impressive right now, and Whit should be, he should be plenty fine, healthy for that game. So LSU looking ahead is going to be scary. But right now, this week, if you're Alabama, you got to focus on South Carolina because even though they may not have had a great season, they still have the capability and the talent on their roster to break out at any moment and beat you. So
that's any SEC team, man.
I agree. Yeah. Anybody can get you.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Going ahead to which we'll upload our preview on the Alabama South Carolina game. What do you think Alabama needs to change this week in practice to be able to go play the South Carolina team?
Definitely. I say if South Carolina's smart, they know what's coming.
Yeah.
So if I'm Alabama, I would definitely work on that running game a lot more. Give Jam Miller a lot more toast than he got this game. Because Jam Miller's a dog. I mean, you got to give that kid the ball. I mean, I know y'all still won, but Jam Miller needs the ball more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think you could even work him. We got three running backs in the backfield. Kevin Riley, who's kind of our speedster. Daniel Hill, who's a 244-pound running back who is a man. And then you got Jam Miller, who's kind of the in-between of both. I think you got to work all three in. I think you got to try to figure out some way to get, and they're making the run game work because these little small passes that may not be considered rushing attempts, but basically are. They're making it work. But you would still like to see Alabama be able to run in between the tackles a little bit better in the future. But moving on, we'll go to your team now, right? Auburn, Missouri, in Jordan-Hare, 2 overtimes. What's your take, RJ? What you got to say on this one?
I mean, play calling was all right until the fourth quarter. Hugh Freeze is just a crybaby, man. You got to fight through adversity, and he cannot fight through adversity like that. Cam Coleman, they didn't call it Cam Coleman pass interference, and he got all whiny and just didn't. He didn't do anything. Like he didn't do anything about it. He just whined about it, and that killed everything for us. And he just needs to quit whining. And plus the I think 4 or 5 crucial drops we had in the game, and then there's 3 missed field goals. I mean, there was an execution problem in that game, and also a little bit of a offensive scheme play calling problem. I feel like Jackson Orr played pretty good. I feel like after that pick, I felt like he did really well. Like Hugh Freeze said, I'm glad he threw the pick so he's not scared of the ball anymore. And other than that, man, Jeremiah Cobb played really well. Cam Coleman, he could have done a lot better. I mean, he still did good, but he could have caught those 2 passes, and he could have had a career game against Mizzou.
I think in this game you saw Cam Coleman have one of his best games this season. 6 receptions, 108 yards, which could have been more than that. Like you were talking about with the ball he dropped running down the field. Perry Thompson, 4 receptions, 60 yards. That may be his best game in his career so far.
Yeah, he's getting a lot more receptions now. I think the past 2 games he's got a lot more receptions, and I'm liking that from him.
Yeah, definitely. He's a big body receiver who has the ability to make plays. Jeremiah Cobb, 19 rushes, 111 yards. Jackson Arnold 17, 14, and Malcolm Simmons 2 for 24. What do you think this Auburn offense looking for? Jackson Arnold finished his game 18 for 30, 207, one interception, and 41.5 QBR. We'll talk about Auburn's defense a little bit more here in the future, but what are you seeing from this Auburn offense that needs to change this week?
Just the play calling, man. The play calling just isn't great. I mean, okay, the last drive of the overtime where Auburn lost that, you do a reverse jet sweep that had -2 yards, and then you got a pass play that I think went for about 6 yards, and then you run the ball on 3rd and 7. Like, why? You had first and second down to run the ball to get those 2, maybe more yards, but you just did it with Jeremiah Cobb. Like, that's just stupid play calling. It just needs better play calling. I mean, we had 41 carries. I like that. 41 carries. I really like that. We should have won that game with 41 carries. Maybe we need a little bit more carries with Jeremiah Cobb, because Jeremiah Cobb is a dog, man. He could be a leading rusher right now in the SEC right now if he would just give him the ball, just like Jarquez Hunter last year. We didn't give him the ball, and he could have been the best SEC running back in the nation. I mean, in the conference. So,
looking at we'll get off the subject of offense. Let's get to a happier spot if you're an Auburn fan. The defense's performance. Bo Prabula, he's not a great quarterback whatsoever, especially passing quarterback. He's got a lot of potential. Just got to clean up a lot of mechanics. But 2 interceptions one day for him. Auburn corners made a lot of plays that were really nice. Ahmad Hardy, 2 rough games back to back. 24 carries, 58 yards, 2 touchdowns. But as far as just straight rushing yardage, not a great game for him. And then the receiving core for Missouri was pretty spread out as far as receptions. I think, you look at this game for Auburn's defense. What did you see that you liked from them and didn't?
I really liked the fight we had. Like, as soon as Ahmad Hardy got the ball, the whole team was on him. I mean, it's hard to tackle that kid. So the whole team got on that kid and made sure he got down. I like that from the defense, and also I like our secondary looked really good in that game. There's some times that we got burnt, but I mean, they only scored 23 points, man. I mean, you can't ask for a better defense than that, Yeah. And we stopped the leading SEC running back to 58 yards also, so I felt like that was pretty good. Then the downside is just getting to the quarterback more sacks. I feel like that we need, and we were kind of letting Bo Prabula run out the pocket and do what he wants to do a little bit. I didn't like that, so I feel like we need to get to the quarterback, put a hand on the quarterback a lot more.
Yeah. Missouri's defense ends up with 5 sacks, 9 tackles for loss. Auburn 3 and 9 tackles for loss. So Zion Young, we all know he's a great edge rusher. He's going to continue doing his thing. You saw him actually during the coin flip for the overtime talking a little trash. He's got a little bit of fire to him. He's a good edge rusher. He's a good ball player. He at the end of the game made a difference. So this Auburn team, man, you got a lot of moving to do. I don't know. There's a lot of pieces that need to move around. You got too much talent in your team to be 0-4 in the SEC and 3-4 overall. When a lot of people had you going 8-4, 10-2. Etc. So, let's get to the nitty gritty of this. Hugh Freeze, is he in or is he out?
Man, I'm gonna be honest with you. I hate to say it, but I want him out. Honestly, I mean, he's an excellent recruiter, man. Excellent recruiter. I love his recruiting. I like him as a coach. I like where his faith is also. But his offense just sucks, man. Honestly, you went 0-2 for quarterbacks. You kept Peyton Thorne for 2 years, and then you got Jackson Arnold. If you want a passing quarterback, go get your passing quarterback. Don't get a running quarterback. That's just stupid to me. How you gonna get a running quarterback with a average to below average arm and pressure him into winning the game by passing? That's just stupid to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I want him out. Though I think it's over for Hugh Freeze after this season. Maybe even after Arkansas if we lose.
So I got two things for you here. Hugh Freeze, I feel like a big problem with coaches nowadays is your head coach tries to be too much of a play caller. And I know Hugh Freeze isn't the sole play caller for this Auburn offense, but there's not many head coaches that can do that very well. Lane Kiffin's probably the only one that can do it exceptionally well. Sarkisian's been able to do it in the past, but he's not even doing that great this year. I feel like as a head coach, you have to manage everything. You're the highest paid person on campus a lot of times. You're having to do meetings, you're having to do things with the players, things with media, all these things. You have good assistants. Look at Nick Saban, right? There's a reason his coaching tree is as good as it is because he hired on guys that could be a head coach one day in the future and built a great staff, which made him ultimately successful because he was able to manage and guide them to the light, right? But I think the main point I was about to ask you is, and this is going to be a good one for TikTok that we can post later, right? Is if Auburn has to get rid of Hugh Freeze, or if Auburn does get rid of Hugh Freeze, say they go on the road and they lose this week, do you think Auburn's job is one of the top of the country? Whenever you have jobs like Florida, Penn State ahead of you, more than likely, and who do you think you could even get in there, and who would you want in there?
Well, I want to say this first. I know I'm saying I want him out, but it's hard when you have a lot more coaches on payroll also that you're still paying that you let them go also. Then Auburn doesn't want anyone to go in there and run the program. Auburn wants someone to bow down to them. And that's all we can get really is second tier coaches, not the number one tier coaches. Because the number one tier coaches wants to go in there and take control of the program and run the program. And Auburn's boosters and all of them is just not going to let that happen. So if you say you want them out, okay, I agree with you, but also I don't think there's another coach that will take this job because coaches won't control the program.
So I think with the job openings that are out there currently, right? You have Florida, who's just fired Billy Napier this past week after a win over Mississippi State. You have James Franklin, who has a heck of a resume at Penn State, loses 3 in a row and gets fired. I think overall, right, you have the Florida job, which is probably one of the best in the country right now, if not the best in the country. Then you have Penn State, which is another one. And then you kind of somewhere – what did you say? Still got Arkansas, but I think Bobby Petrino will probably end up staying there if he continues to do well. On the back end, you have this Auburn job that's like you take this job and it's not a 1 or 2 year turnaround. Which I'm not saying Penn State's probably got the best roster talent out of all 3 of these schools, but if Florida's not far behind them, Florida's got a lot of talent too. But it's just going to be about retaining these players. Do you think Auburn's going to not be able to get like Lane Kiffin's the talk for the Florida job, which we'll talk about this in a second. James Franklin could end up somewhere, but I don't think it's going to be Auburn. I don't think he'd go to Auburn. That's too big of a rebuild for him. You got some guys like Rhett Lashley at SMU that could possibly take it. Brent Key at Georgia Tech, but I mean, heck, Georgia Tech's not a powerhouse, but they're a really good program right now. Do you leave Georgia Tech? And then Tulane's head coach, I don't know why his name's going out of my mind right now, but and then you have a guy up in Washington, Jed Fish, who could also come down there and be some type of game changer. So, what do you think Auburn's going to have to do moving forward to maybe make this job more appealing, or do you think you just stick it out with Hugh Freeze?
Well, if they do stick it out with Hugh Freeze, someone's got to tell Hugh Freeze go. Because Auburn has the money too. Go get a high-end offensive coordinator hire, and let him control the play calling. Okay, Hugh Freeze got some plays he doesn't like. Okay, once every now and then you can change it up, but go get you a high offensive coordinator that's really good, and let him call the plays. You sit there and be the head coach. You be the motivator. You be everything else except for the defensive coordinator or the offensive coordinator. And also, I wouldn't mind DJ Durkin as my head coach. Honestly, I like a defensive-minded head coach, so you can stay the hell away from offense.
Yeah,
Let
Um,
your offensive coordinator do his thing.
I think if
You
you're
know?
Auburn, you can't let Durkin go anywhere, especially in the
No,
future.
no.
So let's, Auburn's got a lot of stuff to work on. Let's talk about this Florida job. Who's your favorite for this Florida job? Because in my opinion, I think Lane Kiffin obviously is your number one
Yeah,
guy. He's your best fit, but I don't think you can
I
get him
think
there
I
at the
think I think
moment.
they'll I think they can.
You
I
think
think
so?
they can. Yeah. Florida has the money too. Lane Kiffin would be stupid if he wouldn't take the Florida job because Lane Kiffin's a hell of a good coach. He would turn that program around, I believe so. And I feel like Florida would offer him a good amount of money to accept that job.
So
I
say
feel like Lane Kiffin will be the man to go to do the Florida job.
so if not, right? I think you got a couple names in the hat. I don't know if Florida wants to go back down and get one of these guys from a smaller school, from the Sun Belt or et cetera, Group of Five or whatever. I don't think you want to go back that far.
Wasn't Billy
Um,
Napier at the Raging Cajuns, Louisiana?
I want to say he
Before,
was.
I think he was at Louisiana before he went to
Let me
Florida.
confirm this. Let me confirm this. Um, yeah,
I'm
that's
pretty sure he
correct.
was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Um, I don't think if you're Florida, obviously, I don't think you go for somebody like John Sommerall. I don't think you go for Alex Golish, at USF. I don't think you go for somebody like that. I think you're looking more of like a Lane Kiffin, Marcus Freeman, Drinkwitz at Missouri. I think
John Gruden.
I don't know if you get John Gruden. I don't know if that's the one, but God, I would love to see him in college football, though.
Yeah, I think it'll be Lane Kiffin, man. Lane Kiffin's stupid if you don't take the job. Honestly, I know he built a little bit
Yeah.
at Ole Miss, but it's really not enough to just stay there.
Yeah. I really, I think you're right about the Lane Kiffin deal. I don't think if they end up getting Lane Kiffin, I think Florida, if you're Florida, I think you just reach out to as many people as that are open to the job as you can, and then you just pick and choose through them after that. Like I think if I'm Florida, Lane Kiffin's getting a call, James Franklin's getting a call, hell, Nick Saban's getting a call. I'm talking about anybody I can get their phone number. I'm gonna offer you something to see if you'll come back.
You think
Drinkwitz is getting a call.
Nick Saban would take that Penn State job? He's been
No, no.
talked a lot.
No, he's not going to take that Saban job. He got asked that on College Game Day for $51 million. Would you come? And he's not getting back into college football. There's no way. Why would you? He's got a good jillion car dealerships. He's got this perfect job that he still gets to be involved in football, but doesn't have to go travel and doesn't have to worry about NIL. Doesn't have to worry about these things. But I
I
don't.
don't think so
He's
either.
not.
But
He's not taking the Penn State job. I think
it'll
that's just
shock
a
the
bunch of.
world, man. It'll
Yeah, I
shock
don't
the
think he's
world.
going. I think if you're an Auburn football fan, I think you need to get ready to learn Rhett Lashley or learn him again. Let me rephrase that.
We
He's got
already
ties
learned
to the
him.
program. I know that's what I'm saying. I think you need to get
He
ready to
got
see him again.
fired. He got fired because his offense sucked.
I know he got fired because his offense sucked, but he's done a hell of a job rebuilding SMU, right? He's done a hell of a job rebuilding
In
SMU.
the ACC.
He made a run. He made a run. I think he's going to be in the talks for your next head coach. Do I think he's a great hire? Not really. But who else are you going to get if you're Auburn? You can't be picky, right?
Yeah,
You can't
I
be
guess.
picky. Who would you rather have?
Oh,
John Summerall from Tulane? Would you rather? Because you're not going to get Drinkwitz. You're not going to get. You may get James Franklin, but you may be in the same boat as you are with Hugh Freeze right now because the talk at Penn State was.
I don't want James Franklin, man. If he can't win the big games in the Big Ten, you can't win the big game. You can't win any games in the SEC. I'm sorry. You might
So
win once or one or two or three, but there's too much talent in that talent. But what's the word I'm looking for, Dalton? Come on, say it to me. Say it to me.
too much potential talent. It's too much.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
too much strength in the schedule for him.
Okay. Yeah, I get what you're saying now. So if Auburn's head coaching job opened up tonight, who are you wanting to be the next head coach for the Auburn Tigers?
John Gruden. Hear me out.
Explain.
I'm kidding. He's not coming. Like I said, Auburn doesn't Auburn doesn't want anyone that can have total control of the program.
Yeah.
But I really, to me, give me the Georgia Tech head coach. What's his name?
Brent Key. That's
Yeah.
I like Brent Key as well. I think he'd be great, but I don't know if he would have interest. I mean, I think he'd have interest, but I don't know if he'd be fully committed to that Auburn job. But we'll see, man. Only time will tell. Maybe Hugh Freeze will get things turned around. You can hire you an offensive coordinator in the offseason and be screaming War Eagle, War Eagle, 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 all that.
Well, we still can ruin Alabama season. So
that's your Super Bowl left, right? That's your Super Bowl, the national championship.
national championship
Like every year. Just like as long as Alabama doesn't succeed, we're chilling,
We're just chilling over here, man.
As long as we go 2-10 and we beat Alabama in one of those two games, we're chilling. You know what I'm
We're
saying?
keeping Hugh Freeze, baby. We're keeping Hugh Freeze.
We said
Here's
prior
right now.
to the season that Hugh Freeze needed to either beat Alabama or Georgia. He didn't beat Georgia. He's got to beat Bama now to stay.
He didn't beat Mizzou either, so
He hadn't beat a lot of people this year, but he beat Ball State and he beat South Alabama and Baylor. Keep that in mind. He started off 3-0. You start.
I think Dalton left the chat. I think Dalton's lagging. Dalton.
All right, I think we're back.
Did you hear me?
I can hear you. I think Dalton's left the chat. No, Hugh Freeze, a lot of troubles this year. We'll close it out before my internet absolutely quits on me. This has been the R&D podcast. I got my overalls. I got them kind of pulled down right now, but either way, they're going to stay on for the rest of the year until we lose, which hopefully isn't at all. AP poll. Let's talk about this. AP poll comes out. Still got Ohio State up there at the top. There's no reason to move them. Indiana, Texas A&M, they bump up a spot. Alabama bumps up 2 to number 4. Georgia 5, Oregon 6, Georgia Tech 7. They bump up 5 spots, by the way. Ole Miss at 8 after losing to Georgia at home. Miami, Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt moves up 7 spots after beating LSU at home. Do you like that top 10? Is there anything you would change?
No, I like it. I feel like Vandy should be up more. Honestly, I feel like Vandy's pretty good SEC team. They're definitely to me they're top 4 in the SEC, and I feel like Vandy should be higher, but they did move up 7 rankings, so you got to give them that. So I agree with the top 10. Yes,
I think there's 4 elite teams in the SEC right now, and I never thought I would say this, but I think you got A&M, Bama, Georgia. Let me rephrase this. 5. A&M, Bama, Georgia, Ole Miss, or Vandy, Ole Miss.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree with you. Auburn could be up there, but
But anyways, before RJ starts crying on the mic again, we'll get out of here. This has been an RD podcast. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Catch us on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Spotify. This will be our first episode on Spotify. Big things happening over here. Not really, but we're getting there. Isn't that right, RJ? We're going to be there one day. A couple live shows maybe in our future. We may do some live streams. May see what we got here. RJ gets a little nervous whenever you put the pressure on him, but either or. This has been the RD podcast. My name's Dalton.
RJ.
We'll catch you next time.
Bow.